Can Harbor Freight's cheapest power station run my refrigerator? Yes, it actually can. When you first turn it on, it surges up to 500 watts, but that's no problem for this power station because it can handle up to 700 starting watts. The fridge eventually levels out to about 300 watts, and this is a 350 watt power station, so that is perfectly fine. It can also run lighting, a box fan, a PC, and even some power tools. I've been really excited to see if it can run a TV, so let's start with this really small one. As you can see, it powers this little one no problem. Now, what if we add a Nintendo Switch? Once again, still no problem even with the Switch. Now, this TV is quite a bit bigger, so let's see how it does. This one draws a little bit more power, but still no problem for the Predator 350. This is my largest TV, and it's also kind of old, so a little bit less energy efficient than the other two. Let's see if it can handle this one. Even this one only pulls about 79 watts, so still plenty of room for this power station. So obviously the reason we're testing this stuff and the reason that most people buy one of these power stations is if you have a power outage. So at least now we know that if there's a big snowstorm or if a meteor hits the earth, you can still power your TV and watch some football. But can you make a cup of coffee? It does its best to handle the coffee maker, but unfortunately the coffee maker does start out at over 700 watts and you get the overload message on the little power station screen here. How about a space heater? Okay, so here's the fan. It's pulling 29 watts. We got 9 hours, give or take. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn on the heat. We're on low fan speed, minimum temperature. Oh, and we're already up to 300 watts, 370. Oh, this is not gonna work. Already up to 500 watts. There it goes. All right, so no, space heater's not gonna work. Now there are some things I've tried to power that I can't, including my miter saw, a shop vac, and an air compressor, but if you need to pump up a tire, you can power a little tire inflator like this. I really wish it could power a shop vac because I often find myself in places without an outlet where I'd like to vacuum some stuff up, like out here in the storage shed at the back of my property. But unfortunately, if you want to power a shop vac, you're gonna need a power station with probably 1500 watts or more. Now another important piece of the equation is not just can it run something, but how long can it run something. For example, it can run this light for 2 hours, it can run the small TV for 7 hours, and it can run the PC for 11 hours. I want to show you a simple way to calculate how long it can run something. We're going to need two numbers. We're going to need the battery capacity of the power station and the power draw of the thing that you're powering. Let's take a little portable fan, for example, and say it draws about 20 watts. So we're going to do 294 divided by 20, which gives us a runtime of 14.7 hours. So in a perfect world, we could power this fan for 14.7 hours. However, we don't live in a perfect world. In real life, power stations are not 100% efficient. In fact, most of them are really only 85 to 90% efficient. So we can multiply our runtime by 0.9 to account for the imperfect efficiency, which gives us a runtime of 13.2 hours. Fortunately, the power station does tell you how long it can run something whenever you plug that thing in, but just in case you ever wanted to know how long something will run without plugging it in, now you know how to calculate that. Now obviously, where a power station like this really excels is for short power outages where you just need to keep a little light on and keep your devices charged. You can power a pretty good sized lamp for about 16 hours, and this little lamp will go for 21 hours. Phone batteries typically only take about 12 watt hours to charge all the way, so this thing has enough juice to fully charge your phone 20 times easily. So in my opinion, this is great for charging small devices and powering small lights when you're in a power outage, but obviously it's not gonna power your whole house. It can power some pretty impressive things like the refrigerator, but not for very long. That's why this is really meant more for short power outages. Or you can use it like me. I don't use it for power outages at all. I mean, I guess I would if I had a power outage, but I primarily use it to power my tool shed. I keep it hooked up to the solar panel pretty much all the time. The solar panel is the one from Harbor Freight, by the way. So it sits in there fully charged, keeping my batteries charged. I can run a little fan, I can run lights, whatever I need to do. So I hope this gave you a good idea of what you can power with this thing. Obviously, if you do pair it with the solar panel, you'll get some extended run times. But I've never went through the trouble of running a solar panel into my house for a battery this small. If it was something that could power my whole house or run the fridge for a couple of days, then sure, maybe I'd go through the trouble of setting up a solar panel on the roof or something. But since this is really just made for temporary power outages and, you know, powering small things, I think my solar panel setup out on my shed works pretty good. And it does give me some peace of mind knowing that if I was to lose power, I could bring it in the house, charge up our devices, run a fan, run a light, and even catch the Panthers game if I really wanted to. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. Hope you can get a pretty good idea of what this thing can power now. If you enjoyed, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.